First contact in the void. Commander Rhiannon Davies stood at the quantum observation deck of Helio Station, her weathered fingers tracing patterns on the reinforced glass as she watched the anomaly grow. 23 years of deep space service hadn't prepared her for this moment. The phenomenon before her defied everything humanity thought they knew about physics, a tear in spacetime that shimmered like liquid starlight. "Commander, we're detecting quantum signatures unlike anything in our database," Lieutenant J. Park's voice crackled through her neural link. The young physicist had been monitoring the anomaly since it first appeared 48 hours ago. "Keep monitoring, but maintain distance protocols," Rhiannon replied, her Welsh accent more pronounced under stress. "The last thing we need is dash." The space before them crystallized. There was no other word for it. Reality itself seemed to fracture and reform, geometric patterns cascading through the void until they coalesced into a vessel that shouldn't exist. It looked like a living geode, faceted surfaces catching and refracting starlight in impossible ways. "All stations, yellow alert," Rhiannon ordered, straightening her midnight blue uniform. "Dr. Okonjo, prep the first contact protocols. Lieutenant Park, full sensor sweep. Let's not embarrass ourselves in front of the neighbors." The vessel approached with impossible grace, each movement precise yet fluid. As it drew closer, Rhiannon could see that its crystalline surface wasn't solid but rather composed of countless smaller shapes in constant motion, like schools of fish swimming through glass. "Commander," Dr. Aisha Okonjo's voice held a note of wonder, "they're broadcasting something. Not radio waves, not quantum signals. It's like they're communicating through changes in the fabric of space itself." Rhiannon felt a familiar flutter in her stomach, the same one she'd felt when she first left Earth's atmosphere. "Can we respond?" "Negative. Our technology isn't." Aisha paused. "Wait. They're adapting. The signal's shifting to match our communication protocols. They're learning our technology in real time." The main viewport flickered, and a figure materialized, or perhaps crystallized, before them. It stood roughly humanoid in shape, but its form was composed of translucent geometric patterns that shifted and flowed like liquid diamond. Where a face might be, patterns of light danced in complex sequences. "I am Nexera," the being spoke, not through sound but through patterns of light that somehow translated directly into meaning in their minds. "We have watched, we have waited, and now we must act. Your species stands at a crossroads, and the path you choose will echo across realities." Rhiannon stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "I am Commander Rhiannon Davies of Earth Alliance Station Helios. We welcome you in peace and hope for understanding between our peoples." The crystalline being's patterns shifted, creating what might have been amusement. "Peace is admirable, understanding essential, but time grows short. We chose this moment, this station, this commander with purpose. The void between realities stirs with hunger, and your species possesses something unique, something that may save us all." "And what might that be?" Rhiannon asked, though something in her gut told her she already knew the answer. "Chaos," Nexera replied. "Beautiful, terrible, necessary chaos. Where we bring order, you bring possibility. Where we see patterns, you see potential. We have watched your kind turn limitations into advantages, failures into stepping stones. You take what is and imagine what could be." Before Rhiannon could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Lieutenant Park's voice cut through the chaos, "Commander. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. Something's coming through, but the signatures, they're wrong somehow." Through the viewport, Rhiannon watched as space itself began to tear. Unlike the elegant crystallization of Nexera's arrival, these new rifts looked diseased, reality peeling away like rotting flesh to reveal absolute nothingness beneath. The Void Hunters, Nexera's form pulsed with urgent patterns. "They have followed us, drawn by your potential. They feed on possibility itself, consuming choice and chance until only one path remains, the path to entropy. Rhiannon squared her shoulders, decades of military training kicking in. Helio Station, battle stations. Dr. Okonjo, I need options. Lieutenant Park, get me everything you can on these ruptures. She turned back to Nexera. I assume you have a plan. The crystalline being's form shifted into what might have been a smile. Not a plan. Plans can be predicted, countered, consumed. What we need is something uniquely human, improvisation. As the station's klaxons wailed and her crew rushed to their posts, Rhiannon allowed herself a small smile. First contact, an existential threat, and the fate of reality itself hanging in the balance, all before her first cup of coffee. Well then, she said, let's show these void hunters why they should have left humanity's chaos alone. Whispers between stars. The holographic war room aboard Helio Station hummed with tension as Commander Davies studied the three-dimensional display of the approaching rifts. Each tear in reality pulsed with sickly light, spreading like cracks in glass across the fabric of space. The void hunters don't just consume reality, Nexera explained, their crystalline form casting prismatic patterns across the tactical displays. They reshape it, forcing order upon chaos until only one possibility remains, their possibility. Lieutenant Park manipulated the holographic controls, zooming in on the nearest rift. These readings are impossible. It's like they're editing space-time, deleting variables, reducing quantum states to singular outcomes. Precisely, Nexera's form rippled with approval. Your quantum physics speaks of multiple possibilities existing simultaneously. The void hunters find this offensive. They seek to eliminate choice, to reduce infinity to singularity. Dr. Okonjo stepped forward, her dark eyes intense with focus. Commander, I've been analyzing the data from Nexera's ship. Their crystalline technology, it's not just advanced, it's adaptive. It learns, grows, evolves. But it follows strict patterns, mathematical certainties. Rhiannon caught the excitement in her chief scientist's voice. And that's why they need us, isn't it? Because humans don't follow patterns. Your species, Nexera pulsed, exists in a state of constant flux. Where we build on certainties, you leap into the unknown. Where we seek perfection, you embrace imperfection, finding strength in flaws, possibility in limitations. The station shuddered as another rift opened closer to their position. Through the viewport, Rhiannon watched as stars began to vanish, replaced by patches of absolute nothingness. Not darkness, darkness was something. This was the absence of anything, even possibility. Lieutenant Park, how long until those rifts reach populated systems? Jay's fingers danced over his console. At current expansion rates, 72 hours until they reach the outer colonies. 5 days to Earth. We don't have time to evacuate, Dr. Okonjo said softly. Even if we could, where would we go? These rifts are spreading exponentially. Rhiannon turned to Nexera. You said improvisation was key. What exactly did you have in mind? The crystalline being moved to the center of the room, their form expanding to create a complex geometric display. My ship carries the seeds of what we call a reality anchor, a device capable of stabilizing spacetime. But its construction requires both our crystalline technology and human insight. A hybrid technology. Dr. Okonjo stepped closer to examine the display. The theoretical implications alone are fascinating, Doctor, but we're short on time, Rhiannon interrupted. What do you need from us? Your chaos, Nexera replied. Your ability to see patterns and break them, to find solutions where none should exist. My people can provide the framework, but you must fill it with possibility. Lieutenant Park laughed suddenly, drawing surprised looks. Sorry, Commander, but it's just, we're going to fight cosmic entropy with human creativity? Write our own rules into the universe. Is it really so strange? Dr. Okonjo asked. Humans have always defied the impossible. We looked at the void between stars and saw highways. We faced our limitations and built tools to overcome them. We turned our weaknesses into strengths. Another tremor ran through the station. This time, warning lights flashed across multiple decks. "Commander," Lieutenant Park's voice was tight with concern, "quantum fluctuations are increasing. The rifts, they're changing course. They're coming straight for us. They sense what we attempt." Nexra's form darkened. "The Void Hunters are drawn to possibility, seeking to consume it before it can threaten their order." Rhiannon straightened, decision made. "Dr. Okonjo, you and Lieutenant Park will work with Nexra on this reality anchor. I want preliminary designs within 6 hours. I'll contact Earth Command, try to prepare them for what's coming." "Commander," Nexra pulsed with hesitation, "there is something else you should know. My people, we are not united in this endeavor. Some believe that working with humans is too dangerous, that your chaos might prove as destructive as the Void Hunters themselves. Let me guess," Rhiannon smiled grimly, "they might try to stop us. They may have already taken steps. Your Earth Command, have you noticed any unusual technological advances recently? Any sudden leaps in development that seemed convenient?" The implications hit Rhiannon like a physical blow. She remembered the classified reports about breakthrough technologies, the mysterious disappearances of certain research stations, the growing faction within Earth Command that pushed for more aggressive expansion. "We've been infiltrated," she said softly. "How long?" "Long enough," Nexra replied. "Those who oppose this alliance have been influencing your development, trying to guide humanity toward order rather than chaos. They believe they can negotiate with the Void Hunters, preserve themselves by helping to impose universal order." Dr. Okonjo swore quietly in Yoruba. "They're going to resist any attempt to build this reality anchor. Then we don't give them time to stop us," Rhiannon decided. "Doctor, Lieutenant, you have 4 hours, not 6. Nexra, I need everything you can tell me about these infiltrators. If we're going to save reality, we first need to know who's trying to stop us." As her team dispersed to their tasks, Rhiannon gazed out at the spreading rifts. Somewhere out there, ancient forces were gathering, drawn by humanity's potential for chaos. And humanity's greatest strength, its unpredictability, might be all that stood between existence and entropy. She just hoped they could harness that chaos before order consumed everything. Shadows in the light. The emergency conference with Earth Command began exactly as Rhiannon expected, with denial. "Commander Davies, your claims are outlandish," Admiral Hassan's hologram flickered with static. "Crystalline aliens? Reality-eating void entities? This sounds more like fiction than a tactical report." "The sensor data doesn't lie, Admiral," Rhiannon stood firm, hands clasped behind her back. "And neither do the disappearing stars. Check your own deep space arrays, you'll see the rift spreading. What I see," a new voice cut in smoothly, "is an opportunity." Director Julian Blackthorne's hologram materialized, his expensive suit and perfectly styled silver hair a stark contrast to the military uniforms around him. As head of the Advanced Technologies Division, he'd been behind some of humanity's most significant recent breakthroughs. Now, thanks to Nexra's warning, Rhiannon knew why. "The technology this crystalline being represents," Blackthorne continued, "could revolutionize human development. Commander, I'm dispatching a special research team to Helio Station immediately." "With respect, Director," Rhiannon kept her voice level, "we don't have time for research. Those rifts will reach Earth in less than 5 days. All the more reason to understand what we're dealing with," Blackthorne smiled. "My team has experience with similar phenomena." Lieutenant Park's voice whispered through Rhiannon's neural link, "Commander, quantum spikes detected. Multiple ships emerging from fold space." "How many?" Rhiannon subvocalized. 3. Configuration unknown. They're running dark. Rhiannon turned back to the holograms. "Admiral, Director, I'm afraid we'll have to continue this later. We have a situation developing. Commander, Blackthorn's smile never wavered. I insist. Rhiannon cut the transmission. Battle stations. Dr. Okonjo, what's the status of the reality anchor? We've barely started. Aisha's voice was strained. Nexra's designs are incredible, but merging them with our technology, it's like trying to teach quantum physics to a binary computer. The unknown ships dropped their stealth fields, revealing vessels that made Rhiannon's blood run cold. They looked like human ships that had been infected by crystal growths, their clean lines corrupted by geometric patterns that pulsed with sickly light. Fascinating, Nexra observed, their form dimming. They've achieved what we feared, a fusion of our technologies, but twisted toward order rather than possibility. Helio Station, a familiar voice echoed through the command center. This is Director Blackthorn. By authority of Earth Command Special Directive 7119, I am assuming control of this facility. Stand down and prepare for boarding. Special Directive 7119. Lieutenant Park frowned. I've never heard of Dash. Because it doesn't exist, Rhiannon cut him off. Station security, seal all airlocks. Lieutenant, get me weapons control. Doctor, how quickly can we move the reality anchor project to Nexra's ship? Commander, Blackthorn's voice held a note of amusement, please don't make this difficult. We've spent years guiding humanity toward order, efficiency, predictability. We won't let you undo everything with your chaos. The hybrid ships opened fire, not at the station, but at space itself. Where their weapons struck, reality cracked and splintered, creating new rifts that began to spread. They're accelerating the Void Hunter's work, Nexra's form pulsed with urgency. Using corrupted crystalline technology to tear holes in spacetime. Commander. Dar. Okonjo's voice carried both excitement and fear. I think I understand what we need to do. The reality anchor, we've been approaching it wrong. We shouldn't try to merge our technologies. Then what should we do? Rhiannon demanded, watching as more rifts spread across the starfield. We should let them clash. Create controlled chaos. Human technology is messy, imperfect, but that's its strength. We need to embrace that, use it to disrupt the patterns of both the crystalline tech and the void rifts. Another blast rocked the station. Through the viewport, Rhiannon watched as stars began to vanish, consumed by the spreading nothingness. Blackthorn's ships moved with terrible precision, each shot creating new tears in reality. Do it, Rhiannon ordered. Lieutenant Park, give Dr. Okonjo whatever she needs. Nexra, can your ship protect us if we have to move? For a time, the crystalline being's form shifted with complex patterns. But Commander, you should know, what Dr. Okonjo suggests, it's never been attempted. The interaction between ordered and chaotic systems on this scale, the results will be unpredictable. Rhiannon smiled grimly. Unpredictable is what humanity does best. Station security, prepare for possible evacuation. All hands, this is not a drill. Commander, Blackthorn's voice came again, almost gentle now. You don't understand what's at stake. The Void Hunters aren't the enemy, they're evolution. They're offering us a chance to transcend chaos, to become part of something greater. Order. Perfection. Certainty. That's not evolution, Rhiannon replied, watching as Dr. Okonjo's team began their desperate work. Evolution needs chaos. Needs possibility. What you're offering is extinction with better PR. The hybrid ships moved closer, their crystalline growths pulsing in perfect synchronization. Beyond them, the rifts continued to spread, consuming everything in their path. In the station's lab, human and crystalline technology began to spark and clash, creating patterns that shouldn't exist. They were out of time, out of options, and facing an enemy that had spent years preparing for this moment. But as Rhiannon watched her crew work, saw the determination in their eyes and the innovation in their actions, she knew they had the one thing Blackthorn's ordered perfection couldn't counter. The human capacity to face impossible odds and find impossible solutions. Dance of chaos and order. Helio Station's laboratory had become a battlefield between physics and possibility. Dr. Okonjo's team worked frantically, connecting human technology to crystalline structures in ways that defied conventional engineering. Sparks of impossible colors arced between devices as ordered patterns met chaotic innovation. "The containment field is failing," Lieutenant Park called out, his fingers dancing across 3 holographic interfaces simultaneously. "The quantum resonance is too strong." "Let it fail," Dr. Okonjo replied, her eyes bright with understanding. "We've been trying to contain the chaos, we need to amplify it instead." Through the laboratory viewport, Rhiannon watched Blackthorn's hybrid ships continue their methodical destruction of reality. Each blast created new rifts, spreading like cracks in glass across the starfield. The void beyond was absolute, an emptiness that hurt the eyes to look at. "Commander," Nexra's crystalline form pulsed with urgent patterns, "more ships are emerging from fold space. They bear the signatures of my people, those who chose order over possibility." "How many?" "5 vessels. They will join with Blackthorn's fleet." "Commander, what Dr. Okonjo attempts, it goes against everything my people believe about technological harmony." Rhiannon smiled grimly. "Good. Right now, breaking the rules is exactly what we need." The laboratory erupted in a cascade of energy as another containment field failed. But instead of destruction, the energies began to dance, human and crystalline technologies creating patterns that shouldn't exist, couldn't exist, yet somehow did. "It's working." Dr. Okonjo's voice held wonder. "The chaos is creating new possibilities faster than the ordered systems can process them." "Lieutenant, redirect power from life support if you have to, we need everything." The station shuddered as Blackthorn's fleet opened fire, their weapons enhanced by corrupted crystalline technology. But something was different about their attack pattern. "They're not targeting us," Lieutenant Park realized. "They're trying to create a perfect ring of rifts around the station. They're going to drop us into the void." "Commander Davies," Blackthorn's voice filled the command center, smooth as ever but now edged with something like concern. "Your scientists are playing with forces they don't understand. The resonance patterns they're creating, they'll attract the void hunters directly." "That's the idea, Director," Rhiannon replied. "You want order so badly. Let's see how you handle a little focused chaos." In the laboratory, Dr. Okonjo's jerry-rigged reality anchor began to pulse with power. Human technology sparked and sputtered, imperfect but adaptable, while crystalline structures sang with mathematical precision. Where they met, reality itself seemed to hiccup. "The rifts," Lieutenant Park's voice rose with excitement. "Commander, look at the rifts." The void tiers had stopped expanding. More than that, they were changing. Where before they had been perfect geometric patterns eating away at spacetime, now they writhed and twisted, their edges becoming fractal, unpredictable. "Impossible," one of the crystalline ship commanders transmitted. "The void cannot be corrupted. It is absolute." "Nothing is absolute," Nexra's form brightened. "That is what humanity has taught us. There are always more possibilities." The reality anchor's pulse became a rhythm, then a symphony of chaos. Human innovation and crystalline precision clashed and merged and clashed again, each cycle creating new patterns, new possibilities. The rifts began to shimmer with impossible colors. "What have you done?" Blackthorn demanded, real fear in his voice now. "The void patterns, they're mutating." "Evolution," Rhiannon corrected him. "Real evolution, not your ordered extinction." "Doctor, whatever you're doing, do it faster." In space, something vast and dark began to emerge from the largest rift. Not the nothingness of the void, but something else, a presence that defied description, that shouldn't exist in normal spacetime. Void Hunter, Nexera whispered. They come themselves to end this. The entity emerged fully, a geometry of absolute order that hurt the mind to look at. But as it approached, it encountered the chaotic fields emanating from the reality anchor. Order met chaos in a battle that took place on quantum levels and cosmic scales simultaneously. More power. Dar. Okonjo shouted. The reaction is cascading, but we need to maintain it. The station can't take much more, Lieutenant Park warned. Structural integrity is failing. Rhiannon watched as the Void Hunter entity tried to impose its perfect order on the chaos surrounding Helio Station. But everywhere it reached, it found not the single path it sought to enforce, but countless possibilities, each spawning more. Human chaos amplified by crystalline precision, creating an infinity of choices. You don't understand what you're risking, Blackthorn's voice was desperate now. Perfect order is the only way to survive. The only way to evolve. No, Rhiannon replied softly, watching as the void rifts continued to transform, spreading not entropy now but possibility. Perfect order is stagnation. Evolution needs chaos, needs change, needs choice. Humanity has always known that, Director. It's why we reach for the stars even when we know we might fall. The Void Hunter entity writhed, its perfect geometry distorting as it tried to process the infinite possibilities surrounding it. Blackthorn's hybrid ships began to break apart, the corrupted crystalline growths unable to maintain their unnatural fusion in the face of such chaos. Commander, Dr. Okonjo called out, the reaction, it's reaching critical mass. Whatever's going to happen, it's happening now. As reality itself seemed to hold its breath, Rhiannon thought she saw something new beginning to form in the transformed void rifts, not the nothingness of entropy, but the endless possibility of creation itself. Symphony of Stars. The universe changed in a cascade of impossibility. The reality anchor's pulse reached critical mass, sending waves of chaotic potential through the transformed void rifts. Where once there had been entropy, now there was creation. Where order had tried to impose a single path, infinite possibilities bloomed. Energy readings are off the scale, Lieutenant Park reported, his voice filled with wonder. The void rifts, they're not just changing, they're becoming something entirely new. Through the viewport, Rhiannon watched as the Void Hunter entity thrashed in the grip of chaos. Its perfect geometry fractured and reformed, each new pattern spawning countless variations. The hybrid ships hung motionless, their corrupted crystalline growths crumbling as the unnatural fusion between order and innovation failed. This is remarkable, Dr. Okonjo breathed, studying the readings from her console. The chaos isn't destroying the void rifts, it's transforming them into quantum nurseries. They're giving birth to new forms of space-time. Impossible, Blackthorn's voice was barely a whisper. The void is absolute. Order must prevail. Look around you, Director, Rhiannon replied. The only constant in the universe is change. Even your void hunters are learning that lesson. The massive entity writhed one final time, its form dissolving not into nothingness, but into streams of possibility that flowed into the transformed rifts. Where it passed, new stars ignited, strange stars that pulsed with rhythms never before seen in this universe. They're not dying, Nexera's form brightened with revelation. The Void Hunters, they're evolving. Your chaos has shown them a truth they never imagined, that order and entropy are not opposites, but parts of the same dance. The remaining crystalline ships, those that had joined Blackthorn's fleet, began to power down their weapons. On their hulls, geometric patterns shifted and flowed, abandoning perfect symmetry for more organic forms. We have witnessed something unprecedented, one of their commanders transmitted. Perhaps there is wisdom in chaos after all. Helio Station groaned as its structural integrity continued to degrade. The reality anchor's energies had taken their toll, pushing the facility beyond its design limits. Commander, Lieutenant Park called out, we need to evacuate. The station can't take much more of this. Agreed. Begin emergency protocols. Dr. Okonjo, can we safely shut down the reality anchor? Aisha shook her head, smiling. We don't need to. Look, it's shutting itself down. The chaos is stabilizing into new patterns. Not order, not entropy, but something in between. Something alive. Through the viewport, the transformed void rifts had become nebulae of impossible colors, birthing new stars and stellar phenomena that defied classification. The hybrid ships had gone dark, their crews presumably evacuating as the corrupted crystalline technologies failed completely. Commander Davies, Blackthorn's transmission was weak, resigned. You don't understand what you've done. The order we sought, it was meant to save us all. No, Director, Rhiannon watched as rescue shuttles began evacuating Helio Station's crew to Nexra's vessel. What you sought wasn't salvation. It was an end to everything that makes life worth living: choice, change, possibility. Sometimes we need order, yes, but we also need the chaos that lets us grow, adapt, create. As the last of her crew boarded Nexra's ship, Rhiannon took a final look at the transformed space around them. The new nebulae pulsed with life and potential, their strange stars painting the void in colors that human eyes had never seen before. Even now, the patterns were changing, evolving, creating something new with each passing moment. What happens now? She asked Nexra as they prepared to leave the dying station behind. The crystalline being's form rippled with complex emotions. Now we learn from each other. My people saw only the dangers in chaos, while some of your people sought the false security of perfect order. But together, we've discovered a greater truth, that life itself exists in the balance between the two. Commander, Lieutenant Park called from his new position aboard Nexra's ship, the transformed rifts, they're spreading, but not like before. They're creating new possibilities wherever they go. And look, the stars they're birthing, they're forming patterns. Not perfect patterns, but music, Dr. Okonjo finished, her eyes shining as she studied the data. The new stars, their quantum frequencies, they're creating a kind of cosmic symphony. Order and chaos in harmony. Rhiannon smiled as Helio Station finally went dark behind them, its sacrifice marking the beginning of something new. Humanity had faced its greatest test not through force of arms or technological superiority, but through its most fundamental characteristic, the ability to embrace chaos and find possibility in the impossible. Take us home, she ordered, watching as the new stars danced around them. We have a lot of work to do. As Nexra's ship moved through the transformed space, its crystalline surface now flowing with more organic patterns, Rhiannon thought about the future they'd created. Not a future of perfect order or endless entropy, but one of infinite possibility. One where humanity's chaos and the Luminaries' precision could work together to create things neither species had imagined possible. Above all, they had proved what humanity had always known in its heart, that the most beautiful symphonies were never perfectly ordered, but contained just the right amount of chaos to make them sing.